Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission to assemble a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world, one character at a time. And it all starts with one thing, a deep understanding of human motivation, why people do what they do, and the forces that drive them. To gain that understanding, I am mining the intersection of psychology, theology, and philosophy to make you a better writer. This is episode number 36, Determining Your Character Profile, Part 1, Your Base Traits. Before I get started on tonight's theme, I was asked a question by a follower who asked me to tell something about my qualifications. Who am I to teach this stuff? And, what is my background? What is my academic or whatever credentials? Well, I'm not usually one to talk too much about such things. I feel that if you need to know, you can always just Google me. My name's right there it's right visible. But I thought about it some more and I thought, well, okay, I'll tell you a little bit about it because the direct connection to the field of psychology in particular is not immediately obvious by Googling me. There's just too much other stuff comes up and I'm better known in another area and that kind of tends to hide it. So if you do want to know something about my background in psychology, it is as a statistician working for a PhD psychologist. And in that capacity, I was a co-author on 3 different scientific papers. And I learned last year, coincidentally, I discovered that I'm a highly cited author in the field of psychology. Who knew? I have an undergraduate course in psychology. I don't have a degree in psychology. As I said, my role on the paper was as a statistician with a BA in mathematics, not even an advanced degree. So it's very unusual for a statistician to get anything more than just an acknowledgement on a scientific paper. However, if you do look up Spracklin Deshawn, you will find that there were those 3 papers that I was a part author on were very much about computation. So perhaps it was very generous of Dr. Deshawn, but perhaps it also made some sense to have me mentioned as an author. And as for being highly cited, well, I was a little bit surprised to find that when I looked up those 3 papers, that they did have quite a number of citations. So I noticed one of them had like 200 and some citations, another 400 and some, and one had 700 and some citations. So I checked on Google and said, what's good for a scientific paper? And Google said 10 to 20 citations is pretty good. If you get 100 citations, that's a highly cited paper. All 3 were highly cited. What do you know? And then there was another one that came up. Duke University proudly claimed that they have 17 professors on staff who are highly cited in their field, and they gave us the criterion that they had a lifetime citations of more than 1,000. Whoa, what do you know? Those 3 papers add up to more than 1,000 citations. Guess what? I'm a highly cited author in the field of psychology. Well, I'm not here to put that credential out there other than just that interesting background. I'll dribble a little bit of the rest of it out as this part on establishing your character profile continues. But that's enough for tonight, or I'm going to take the whole time, and I certainly don't want to do that. This is going to be a little bit of a workshop podcast, so get ready to hit your pause button, or you can always replay it. But what we're going to be doing in this coming series is go through some steps in case you might be curious to establish your own character profile. How would you show up on a character profile diagram? So we're going to begin with looking at our base traits. A base trait, you can find that out by asking yourself a simple question. What is there about you that is very deeply true about you, and that you are happy that it's true about you, and you hope will never change, and it's been true about you for a very long time? So think about what that might be as the first step. Pause, and we'll return. Great. Do you have something in mind? Okay, now I want you to take out a blank 4x6 file card, and on that little card, write a little story about the first time in your life that you can remember. Make it as vivid as possible, but fit on the file card. The first time in your life that you knew you had that character trait about you. Did you do that? Great. Now take out another file card and write the most recent time that you were aware that you had that trait about you. Make it as detailed as you can, but no longer than will fit on a 4x6 file card. We'll name the traits later, but right now we're just trying to capture the stories about the trait. You can repeat this as many times as you can think of different character traits that have been true about you for as long as you can remember, and that you hope very much will continue to be true about you as you go forward in life. These are the traits that are our base traits, the things that make us us. They're the most stable part of our being, and it's symbolized by, in the diagram of the triad of emotions, it's identified by having the victory state as being such a dominant voice that the voice of struggle and the voice of loss are drowned out, because it's just such a stable part that it's something that you can really, really fall back on as the basis in life. And it really helps to make a firm foundation for your life. That's going to be a base trait. And there is no limit to how many types of things that can be base traits. Many of us will have a whole collection of base traits that help give us really, really firm stability in life. So if you can think of another trait, stop and go through those same exercises. The first time you can remember that trait being true about you, and the most recent time that you were aware that that trait was true about you. And if you want to fill in some stories in between, there's nothing wrong with that. If you'd rather journal, and you just prefer to write in a journal, that's totally fine too. But take out your 4x6 file card and make a note of where in your journal you can find the answers to those questions, because you'll want to be able to get back to them, and this file card is going to be your way to get back to them when that journal is on the shelf with all your other journals. We'll continue tomorrow with your anchor traits. Bye-bye.